Hi guys, it's Paul, your friendly neighbourhood toy scavenger here. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at a case of fresh Skyclaws from the Visionary line by Hasbro. When you open a case of this age, you can never tell the condition. With case fresh, you usually get bright colours, nice shape, and no wear and tear like you do with an average item. So to give you some info on what we will be looking at, let's give you a brief history, and for this we need to go back to the 80s. In the 80s, the action figure market was booming, from light up figures to transforming vehicles. Kids had everything, so companies started to look for something different. Supernaturals were the rivals to Visionaries, made by Tonka. The first 6 figures would include a mini comic, glow-in-the-dark weapon and a holographic shield. Visionaries would feature 8 figures on card, which would come with a magical totem, staff and weapon. There was also 4 extra figures that came with vehicles. The idea was that these characters would have the power to pilot the vehicle instead of having the magical totem staffs. The actual 4 figures, you had 2 Spectral Knights, Ektar and Feral, and the 2 Darkling Lords, Recon and Mordred. Mordred was Darkstorm's most loyal servant and the pilot of the Skyclaw. He had the totem of a beetle and in a cartoon portrayed as a bit of a wimp. He was the free figure that came with this Skyclaw, and this is what we're going to take a look at. Apologies for the audio now, but I filmed this and it actually broke, so that's why you got a voiceover from me. So this is as good a time as any to remind you that you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Toy Scavenger, or you could even buy some of the toys on thetoyscavenger.com. Roll those credits. Right, let's start. So when I got this, it had already been opened and all of the vehicles had been double sealed. This was quite common back in the 80s and the 90s, and it was usually to add safety information or to remove it for different international markets. So in this case you have 6 boxes, which is half a dozen, and what is quite unusual, which you can see, you actually have a logo art on the side. Most boxes just have writing or info. This is a nice touch by Hasbro. So what I did here is I only took 3 out because that's all I could fit into the shot. You can see the image at the beginning of the video with all 6 inside the case. So the first thing you can notice is the colours and how bright and vibrant and absolutely beautiful the box art is on these. In fact, all Visionary boxes and cards have just got such an amazing artwork on them. So here you can see the factory seal and also the other side, the double seal that we mentioned earlier. You noticed this kind of tape was actually used by Hasbro and Kenner back in the 1980s and 1990s, and when items were sent to Europe. You can find it on a lot of Jurassic Park dinosaurs. So on the front you can see the art, which features Mordred and Darkstorm. You would have noticed that this is actually a dual language variant. Originally Canadian, which these would have been sent over to Europe as they were fit for purpose. The back features the bio card and an actual rendered image of the toy matching the front. So on the front, along with the art, you can see there's a nice little hologram of Merklin, and you can also see Mordred in his nice little window sticking out. There's also a little feature of the holograms that you can find on top of the Skyclaw. So we're going to open it up, use the trusty scalpel. So inside the box you can see the cardboard tray that features the vehicle itself, and attached to the tray is Mordred. Let's take a look at the instructions leaflet. Inside here you seem to have the holograms, you can see them nice and shiny. This has actually been opened already before, which is probably the safety information added, which I mentioned earlier. And as you can see, there's a nice little note saying how to assemble the vehicle. There must have been an issue in production. So that tiny little note that you saw was actually informing us that the assembly instructions was slightly wrong. You also get 2 free Merklin holograms with this. There's also an important note and some safety information. Here you can see the holograms, and as you can see, they are absolutely beautiful. Vibrant, colourful, the contrast on them, the saturation is just amazing. Give them a little wiggle so you can see, hit the light. So inside you also have the instructions. They're actually a piece of art by themselves. Get them framed, stuck on your wall. Expands and shows you how to assemble the vehicle, although I'm holding it a bit upside down. So first we're going to start with the base of the Skyclaw. And then we have the cockpit and the whole unit on top. Also have the nose front, which would be attached to a nice little ram which is here, which is a nice little kick action. I'm not going to stick all of this together because I was looking to sell this after, so I didn't want to assemble it. But you can get an idea of how it goes together. You have the wings on the side that haven't got the holograms on them yet, but what you would do is add them after. What you would find is over time the contents of these boxes have actually shifted and they've actually come apart. So here you have Mordred's helmet and you have his little weapon. Mordred doesn't come with a staff because his magical power, like I said, was to drive this particular vehicle. So you've got the back, got the wheels, so here you have the blasters that go on the side of the wings. The wings would move in and out to hide the blasters for when they're not in battle mode. So here's a shot of Mordred. It's very similar to G.I. Joe and how you would get a G.I. Joe figure inside the vehicles. Hasbro were quite renowned for putting them inside like this and showing them through a nice little window. So that's it really. Well, I'm not going to put it fully together because I am intending to sell this, but as you can see on these pictures, the box art was amazing. There was hardly any creases. The only issue was the double seal, but that is very common. So guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for viewing. I'd recommend, if you can, go and check out the cartoon because it has aged very well. Guys, if you've got any requests on videos you'd like to see, just leave it in the comments. What did you think of this video? Leave it in the comments. Please remember to share. Please remember to follow. And if you want to visit us on www.thetoyscavenger.com, you can actually pick up some of these toys that we feature. So this is Paul, your friendly neighborhood toy scavenger, signing off. Thank you guys. I'll see you soon.